How are you, sir?
How are you?
Doing good, man. It's really an honor to speak. I'm a huge fan of your films. I've been kind of following you all the way back to Mandrill and ABCs of Death, and one of my all-time favorites is the Redeemer, um,
Cool, man.
which I actually have a quote on the cover of the box, so it makes it even cooler for me. Uh,
Awesome, man.
so let me just ask you, how did you come up with this film? Where did it come from?
Well, Marco and Scott became friends, after those movies that they made together, and they wanted to do another movie together. And Marco told Scott, "Hey, Ernesto, my friend, you gotta meet him. He gotta direct this movie." So we met through a Zoom meeting, and we started, cranking the story, and that's how it started.
Awesome. Now, obviously, you've done, I think, what, like six, seven movies with Marco at this point. So it's probably just like, you get over here, we know what we're doing together. Y'all kind of got it down. When you bring in someone like Scott, who's obviously kind of said his own thing, how easy is it for you to merge those two together? Because you know how Marco works. Scott's got the skills that he's got. For you, though, to bring them together, how easy or hard was it for you?
Well, actually, the work was easy, because easy to, you know what I mean, like, because I'm Marco's friend, and Marco is friend of Scott, so it was pretty easy to have that relationship of friendship together. The scenes were the action scenes were done pretty similar to all our other movies, but obviously Scott brought his thing to the table. But the difficult thing was like the challenge. I wasn't nervous. I gotta recognize that I was going to have Scott Atkins in my movie, because he has so many movies, so many action movies, more than 60, 70 movies already. He knows so much about shooting an action scene. He knows so much about other movies. He's a cinephile. He made movies himself when he was a kid with his friends. So he's a director himself, So I needed to demonstrate that I could do, what I do, and that we could do something at that level or better together.
It's always interesting hearing when people talk like that because knowing your other films, you clearly have the magic of making a great action martial arts flick, but you get that other element. It makes you nervous. Like you, maybe I don't know. I gotta, I gotta figure out what I'm doing to make sure it works for everybody.
Yeah, man, it happens, man. Yes, every movie is like starting again. Every movie is
Yeah.
a different challenge. Yeah.
So when you set out as a director, you have the ways to shooting in action and then the drama and the performances and all the stuff you're saying. As you as a director, what's your personal favorite thing to actually focus on when you're directing? Obviously the action stuff is probably fun to watch and do, but do you have a preference of like, do you prefer watching the actors act and doing the dramatic scene stuff, or do you like getting in there and what figuring out how to make these action scenes work on film?
I think my favorite thing is when I get to the tone of the movie. I understand what is the tone of this movie that I'm going to make. That I used to do it looking for other movies, watching references, taking. I like the music of this one. I like the camera work of this other one. I like the tone of acting of this. You know what I mean. And when you get to that tone, you have your favorite scenes through the script of the movie that you're gonna make, and you work to make those scenes, uh, have the emotional content that they need, even if it is an action scene or a dramatic scene. But you need to get to those scenes with a charge that is gonna make that scene work. So you work the other scenes building these scenes that you want to, shine. Maybe
So
that's
when you, I'm
yeah.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's it. That's my favorite. It's, it's not. I mean, finally, it's everything,
Right,
But
right.
that's what I like.
one of the things I was interested because you've done so many of these martial arts type action movies with Marco and some other stuff. But you had that foray into the ABCs of Death, doing the I'm assuming like one of the short films or whatever. Have you thought about doing any other kind of horror type stuff? Is that something you're interested in trying to break off into at some point, or do you like that the drama action stuff that you're doing?
No, I love horror movies, and I actually one of the things that I want to do that I haven't done is an a horror movie. I have a script that I want to make.
Nice.
So yeah, someday I'll do it, or maybe soon. I don't know. But it's there in my,
Awesome.
you know.
So when you're looking to develop a new project of any kind, um, do you set out like do you have something specific in your mind? You're like, you know what, I just finished Diablo. I want to figure something out. So do you always just try to go for something you write yourself, or do you start searching for a certain thing, like whether it's a drama or comedy or something in your brain, and then it may turn into completely different by the time you develop it? But do you have that mindset, or do you just kind of sit back and wait for it to kind of whatever happens kind of deal?
Uh, you know that I don't know if it's me or I think I share this with a lot of directors and filmmakers that we are always looking for the next one, you know. Every day, you know, you are looking for ideas for movies. It's like you are writing every day of your life. It doesn't mean that you are sitting in the computer, you know, in the final draft, you know, writing, but taking notes, you know, or just I'm gonna remember this because I like this scene that I saw in the street that I could put in a movie. And as a cinephile, I also like to watch movies and to create other movies from the, you know, secondary character of another movie. I say, okay, what if I take this guy as the lead role and I make a movie of about just that character, you know, and that kind of process. And
Uh,
I have ideas that I have since I was a kid
right,
that I want to make, but they are not, they don't have the shape yet to make it happen. And suddenly they just you find a way, you know.
right. Now going back to Diablo, I have to ask, whose idea was Marco's look? Because that look is so. I was writing my review about it. I was like, he looks like an accountant, but it almost makes it more terrifying. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because he doesn't look like your typical killer, assassin, whatever you want to kind of classify him as. He looks like a guy who would be doing your books, you know. But then looks when he looks at you, the little glasses and the hair, you're like, that guy's kind of scary.
Yeah, man. That is a huge part of the movie, you know, the this going for that, you know, look. And we were in pre-production and we knew that we were missing something about that character. And we took a walk with Marco through the street of Bogota, Colombia, just to talk about the character and what we could do. And that walk that was like maybe between an hour and a half, is I think is almost every little thing about that, you know, look happened there. You know, the way he walks, the way he dresses. We found that was too cool. The first approach to his look, maybe typical, you know, and we wanted something more nerdy, but you know, like. Actually, I remember the producer saying this is like a it's like a evil accountant.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
so
my wife is an accountant, so it got me a little worried.
yeah, so yeah, that walk, that walk of talking about the character, define a lot of things. And I remember when Marco, I think was his idea, taking he said, okay, maybe I shave my head, you know, like. And I told him, "Are you willing to do that? Are you sure you want to do it?" Yeah, man, yeah, let's
Oh,
do
it's
it.
so perfect. And
Yeah.
you know what? It also made me think about. He looked like a Bond villain.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
between the hand and the hair and I mean, it was perfect. I mean, there's no other way it would have worked. That's genius on all of your parts. And the movie's fantastic, by the way. I really loved it.
Cool, man. Thank you.
Before get cut off, I have to ask you: is there any chance that we're going to get any more Redeemer, and even more importantly, any more of the Fist of Condor? Because it kind of left us hanging there on like there's more there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah, we too want to finish that story. That story is not finished there. Fist of the Condor is conceived to be to have another movie, obviously, where you see the twins. So yeah, we want to do that definitely.
Well, if you do it, you'll have one person at least watching it. So I'll be right there. if you
Awesome, man. Thank you.
if your name's on anything, I watch it. I love all your films. I have all of them. I really appreciate all the work you've been doing and introducing me to the world of Marco as well, because I'm a massive fan of his as well.
Thank you, man. Thank you for supporting us, and I'm glad you like the movie. So I'm very happy.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me, and I hope you have a wonderful day, sir.
You too, man. You too.
All right, thank you.
Bye bye.